Another program of On Target. And remember, we have a number you can call 442-0175. We have challenges with one of the RealFM 91.9. We are 91.5. You have places in St. Patrick's, Hermitage, Monkridge that is getting 91.5. We have challenge. Seems as though one of the transmitters for 91.9 in trouble. We on YouTube. You can pick us up on YouTube and my Facebook page. We always encourage people to get the younger ones to assist you. This is technology time. Some of the elder ones are struggling. And some of those who have left school a little while ago and don't dabble in the technology that much. You could get assistance. Some of you have good quality phones, but you don't know the know-how. Don't be afraid to engage the younger ones. They may not be your children, but engage them. And let them know that you want to find our program on YouTube. This morning, we're going to start by asking some questions. One of them is the GDB Bank. We have called on our program on Target that the members of the board, the directors of the board should resign. We don't know who the directors are. There are too much speculation, too much rumors, too much unanswered question coming from the Grenada Development Bank. That bank started way back in Gary days. The purpose of the bank was to reach people in the agriculture sector, the informal sector, the cottage industry. People that the banks are not comfortable with. They don't want them. They cannot meet the basic requirement. People at the commercial bank, people that cannot meet the requirements for the commercial bank. For development to take place in a country, the government sometimes invests in venture capital. They invest in people that the commercial banks considered as high risk. The rumors circulating that several members of the government obtained loan from the GDB Bank should be settled long ago. The bank should come and deny these claims if it is not true. This thing are going on for several months now, over a year. The Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, the manager of the bank has not cleared the situation. This is corruption in motion. This is opening a cesspool for corruption. The members of the GDB Bank should resign. I want to, in our democratic process, we are very polarized. Even if you are not a card-carrying member of a political party and you speak and they believe what you say is against the government, you will be classified like an NNP or NNP sympathizer or mouthpiece. Nothing is wrong with that. When you live in a very polarized political environment. We are a small country. I want to advise the members of the NDC, those political activists in the communities. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good day, ma'am.
Mr. Pierre, since Beryl gone way, I can get that station to do. Somebody make do that for me. Mr. Pierre, I want to ask the question, what is really going on in Carrico? I don't find I hear nothing going on in Carrico again. Only the last time I hear they say Sheldon was on Sheldon station saying that the people have come out from Grenada. When did you go in and help? They're charging these people and them all this money and them, Mr. Pierre,
Well,
to put up trampoline.
sometimes you're not certain what's going on. When you hear a lot of rumors, so you don't know, you're not certain. And when I'm not certain, I want to stay out of it. Because even
No,
if,
I listen on Sheldon. I listen it on Sheldon station. I don't hear it. I hear people say, I listen it on Sheldon station. And that is why I come and I give my comment. This is not right. Mr. Pierre, people stamp us. The little dollar everybody have, they know, looking to try to see if they could build back their house, because I don't find the government starting what they want to do. The money they get, what they're trying to do, what they want to do, what they're doing. Help the people. If check how many days now burial past since the first mountain coming, they don't moving out. They supposed to get it chalk, clean out them thing, and then everybody spot help the people do what they pay people. That's what people want. Pay people to do the little work. And then everybody get $1 in their hand. Why this thing is going on like that, Mr. Pierre? Trust me, when stamp pass, Mr. Pierre, when burial pass, only in your time of need you does know who are your friend. You check it out? I don't know. I didn't have current, so I don't know who trying to call. Nobody tell us if they could have called nobody to hear. A pastor from Shantimel invite me to come to a crusade in Hamilton School, Mr. Pierre. Burial past the Monday, I see this poor person come and sit down on my bed and I see the person racing come up the road. So hear me now, what I do, police coming to me. That's what I say, eh? Next thing, the dog take the man. But I look how is the pastor, you know. The pastor come out quite in St. David, Victoria, and come and look and see what go on with me, you know. This is a love. That is the people and them you have to put your trust in. That is a love of brother. Mr. Pierre, I'll there here. I don't see people come and say, hey, what's going on with you? If I don't go on the road, you don't hear nobody say nothing, Mr. Pierre. Let me tell you something. In the time of that's how you have to know who is your friend and who is your enemy in the time of need. When you're sick, you know who is your friend. When time of need, you know who are you. Mr. Pierre, trust me. When I see the pastor from Victoria come from Victoria and come quite in Hermitage and ask me, how are things, if everything all right with me, I said, that's a brother, that's a pastor. That is the people I never could invite me to come to church. Trust me, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre, enjoy the rest of your day. And I want the people and them to do something in Carriacou. Time for the people and them to come out in distress. I know they have iron burial on the mind. Stamp passing to the Monday, stamp passing again today. Time to do something, Mr. Pierre. Enjoy the rest of your day.
yes, people have to understand that when you have a hurricane that have done serious damage to an environment like that, it takes years for people to come out from it. Carriacou was not marred, it was not damaged that much to that extent during Hurricane Ivan and Emily. And even in Hurricane Janet, I don't think Carriacou suffered as much as now. So Carriacou is a small place, about 7,000, 8,000 people in Carriacou. Some of them would be in Grenada, maybe 6,000, 7,000 people. So the houses are damaged. So because of the amount of houses that are damaged, they asked for volunteers from Grenada to go up to help to put back their houses. But these people that are going up, obviously they're going to have to pay them some money to do it, because they volunteer to go up, and some of them are going up there and come down the same day because they have no place to sleep. So it doesn't mean that when they're doing the work for the people don't have to pay. They would charge them something to defray their costs, because it's a cost to leave your job here and pay the boat and go up Carriacou, and you have to eat during that time. So the amount that they charge an individual, I'm not commenting on it. I don't know. I don't know if the government is assisting those people who are doing the work. Because some people in Carriacou would be in better position than others and would be able to get the people to work on their building. Some people don't even have transportation to pick them up. So these things going to happen. And it is traumatizing for Carriacou because they don't have the experience as we in Grenada with that level of destruction. It is also very traumatizing for people in St. Patrick's and St. Andrews. Not in terms of their houses. I don't think we had that serious loss of houses. But in terms of the damage to the land. I had an opportunity to speak to Cultureman. And it saddened my heart, after the conversation. He started with defiance, telling me that I lose too. But after we had long discussion, I felt hot and sad. When a farmer loses his source of income, and that is his only source of income, farming, it's not an easy thing. That person is approaching the danger zone, the breadline. And you would have suffered loss in Ivan and Emily. And to lose, scores and dozens of nutmeg trees now, and the cocoa have been seriously marred, is not an easy thing. That is why I suggested that the nutmeg board, the cocoa board, should come up with a one-sheet document, paper, that perhaps extension officers could hand to farmers when they visit them, encouraging them that we are there to support you and giving them some little tips on the mental and psychological therapy. I've not heard the voice of Nutmeg Association. I've not heard the voice of the Cocoa Association. I've not heard the voice of the Minister of Agriculture. I've not heard the voice of the Chief Technical Officer. So it is a very sad situation for those who are affected. Obviously, it's going to take years to rebuild. But in the short term, people like assurance, to help to address the mental stress. Government have counselors, particularly in the field of education, that they could have bring together to provide words of encouragement that might lift the farmer's spirit. We have not heard. And you know why it is important for government to take the lead? Sometimes you're going to hear other voices taking the lead. When the relevant authorities who should speak don't speak, other voices might speak that might be counterproductive towards agriculture. I've heard voices saying that farmers have to seriously consider not planting back nutmeg. I've heard voices saying that if the farmer intends to plant back nutmeg and cocoa, they must only plant a percentage of the land in that and look for alternative crops. That may not be the voice you want to hear now. You want to hear the government voice. And the government voice would be reflective of the agriculture policy. So the government of Grenada, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Cocoa Board, the Nutmeg Board, are doing injustice to themselves. Because nothing remains a vacuum. If there is a need, nothing remains a vacuum. If you continue to stay silent, other people are going to come and advise the farmers. And the advice they may give the farmers may not be in the interest of the nutmeg and cocoa industry. These individuals in agriculture ought to know that. The Minister of Agriculture ought to know that. It baffles my mind why they remain so silent. And I wonder if they are not more traumatized and go in a state of paralysis. And after speaking to Cultureman, I wouldn't surprise if the Minister of Agriculture is dumbfounded and don't have a clue what to do. But I also have to ask a question today to the parliamentary representative of Maryville. The time has come for you to address the issue of John Galt Kepney's cousin. That sister believes she was tricked by you. She was stabbed in the back by you. She shed tears. You know the situation. You have all the documentation. You are a minister that keeps records and documents. And you have the hand on the trigger to fight at anybody who dare cross you. So I'm daring you now. I'm challenging you now. I'm taking you on. Address the issue of John Galt Kepney's cousin. You sat on the same bench with her. Her greatest disappointment that could come from you. I told her she shouldn't be disappointed because the black man sold his brother in slavery. And it seems that it's a common characteristic of our own people to stab one another in the back. But I call on you to address that issue. The present Minister of Agriculture and you are in good grace. Address the issue. Get on to John Galt Kepney's cousin. You know her. You and her sat on the same bench in school and address the issue of that piece of property. We have to get it right. And my next issue, members of the National Democratic Congress, you who are the so-called politicos in the communities. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, scholar.
How's the weekend? Yeah. Mr. Pierre, when I analyze this government...
You're starting up so low, we could hardly
hear. Yeah. When I analyze this government like, is a Monica government. A Monica government in the context of what they see money and a lot of money. They don't see people. Because look at the time of this, in a hurricane, where hurricane destroy part of Grenada. And where the government should be taking the lead to help people to rebound back. What the government going to look at? That they get a lot of money. While they get a lot of money, they still asking people to do volunteer. Yes, it's not wrong in doing volunteer. But when a man when people have the family, how long they could volunteer for? Because going up and help someone, and then if they don't get no money, and you get no money, and at time they go need pay. They go need to, the people that they have to do the work for, to they go charge them. So if the government want people to go and volunteer, there is okay, there is some people of them are able to pay for certain things. Okay, they might have what they had in mind. But what about those who get that and they don't have? Right? And the government should get information that the people that mostly needed to build back their home, right, and they don't have anything, should pay the workers that are living greater to go up and help cover back the people home, right? Help cover back the people home because they go up there and they come back. They have to eat. They have family to take care of. So the government should, the money the government get, they should, the people that home that destroy and they don't have the means to build back, the volunteers should reach out and help them. Right? The government giving them people the volunteers paying them. So they come like a job. Because a man go volunteer something for one or for a week. But man will say, I should please volunteer, I'll get no money. I need money to maintain myself and to get food enough for my family. So if the government come they get a lot of money, and they was planning for that, send before burial with Pierre, right? $180 million they collected from the CCRIF policy, insurance policy. They get other monies. So what are they doing with the money? What are they doing with the money? They have to spend the money. We can't keep the money there. So that's what I'm saying. This government is a monetary government. They like to see money in their hand, and they like to spend, or even they spend it. Who would they spend it on? So, Mr. Pierre, that's
Yeah.
my.
Yes, scholar.
Okay.
We have to be very, very careful as a people in times like that, you know. And we cannot be like the NDC. We accuse NDC of being very insensitive, and we cannot be like them. The people of Carriacou and Pitimatnik are our brothers and sisters. Some of them over the years have very good relationship with us in Grenada. There is always an issue with big island, small island syndrome. So Carriacouians might always believe that Grenadians is not treating them right. Union Island believe the same thing about St. Vincent. And Tobago the same attitude about Trinidad. But they are our brothers and sisters. And we need those people, particularly skilled people and able-bodied people, should volunteer to go and help. Now, when you volunteer, it doesn't mean that people in Carriacou are not prepared to pay you. But there will be a shortage of skilled men on the island. Some people may have the material, they have the nail, the roof is not covered, and they have no one to put it up. And it's in that capacity the call for volunteers to help Carriacou must be loud and clear. And we must encourage Grenadians to go up in Carriacou and help. It is not easy for your roof to be out. I had the experience in Ivan and Emily when several members of my family roof was out. And I could not even think about mine. I had to concentrate to gather people to assist them, particularly those that had children and elderly in it. That had to be the first thing. And try to salvage some of the household items that people had. Because of the extensive damage in Carriacou, a lot of household items are in the rain. Even if you cover it with galvanized, it is deteriorating. Some of them is wet. So the more roofs that can go up in Carriacou quickly is better for everybody. Obviously, the people who have the money to pay their roof will be done first. And people will be helpless, sitting, don't know what tomorrow will bring, and they're waiting for help to put on the roof. They're waiting for material, they're waiting for lumber. But there are some people who could afford. But once their roof is up, they could reach out and store even some of the household items like refrigerators, chairs, table, electronic equipment for others. We have to be very, very careful. You hear me speak repeatedly, objecting to the government insensitive policy, the government restorative justice policy, the government victimization policy. And the members of the NNP don't retaliate. It can't be about vengeance. It always have to be, you have to show the NDC members that you're better than that. And if you could volunteer to go to Carriacou, and even if it is to help to put up one house, it is better. There are some people, if they go, they don't have the skills to do it. But if you have the skills, then you could help to put tarpaulin on the roof. Some elderly people can't climb the roof to put tarpaulin. They can't even go up a ladder. So they need help. I have advised, I suggest that the government make a recall for policemen who leave recently for 6 months and use the younger police in Carriacou in a brigade under supervision, because they may not be skilled people in carpentry and plumbing, but they can work with carpenters and plumbers to help to cover roof. They're in a better position to live a camp life than the ordinary civilians. That is why only I say the government must disband the policy, abandon, let the public know that you're no longer implementing restorative justice policy. You abandon that policy. That is a fast way to get 40, 50 people in a brigade. The other Caribbean islands is watching us. Only 2 parishes should have been damaged. So Grenada should have enough manpower to lead the recovery program in Carriacou. Even if people from away come, where are they going to stay? You don't have much roof. You can't come from Trinidad and go back in Trinidad in the evening. So the skilled people have to come from Grenada. And we have to prepare to volunteer, irrespective of what kind of government we have. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre. Good afternoon,
Yes,
on target. Mr. Pierre, I happened to see a letter that was from a bank in this country here called the Development Bank, addressing a senator at the Elgeri complex in Tantine, down there, the Takai Gardens. And that letter basically stating that the gentleman has no loans to the bank, right? Now, in this country here, I've realized that a lot of the people that supposed to be doing the checks and balances are not doing their work. The Integrity Commission and all these folks. How are you telling me that you have a board of directors that is clearly made up of Chinese or people that is members of what I call them? The National Democratic Congress? You have Ms. St. Bernard, who's a member of the NDC. You have Brother Simmons, who is a member of the NDC, and you have other people that is clearly associated with NDC. So when I see a letter coming from the development bank by the branch manager or whoever it is of that bank, what do you expect from the letter to come and see? Corruption is in plain sight in Grenada right now. Corruption is plainly in sight. And apparently, the NDC and its affiliates are allowed to get a free pass and do whatever they want. Had it been an NP,
Color,
it's all sorts of things the same.
Color, they have not been
And
getting...
this is not fair.
Color, they have not been getting a free pass. We have been objecting to it. That is why this letter come out. And this letter perhaps makes it more urgent that we ask for the immediate resignation of the board. That is what we need.
I mean,
this letter come out to silence some people. They believe that, you see, the NDC always believe they're smart and bright, and everybody else stupid. This letter,
You understand?
this letter,
Come on.
this letter strengthens my resolve to ask for the immediate resignation of the board. The board is corrupt. The board is a rubber stamp. The board must go.
I mean, you having people on speaking on behalf of you and saying, even though you're a legislator, you're allowed to get a loan from the development bank and you're a citizen of this country. I mean, how much more
The
corrupt?
board must go.
NDC
They corrupt.
supporters.
They
Jesus
bad-minded.
Christ, people.
They bad-minded and they corrupt.
And
They
you
must
have-
go.
There are people in that party that's supposed to have some moral authority, some moral bungs. But right now, it's like from chief cook to the cleaner, everybody corrupt. And nobody... My goodness, man. We Mr. Pierre, we need this stuff. We
The
cannot-
Prime Minister
The country
said
cannot be going on this level.
morality is a private thing. And none of them tell the Prime Minister what side a ram go to advise.
I'm asking again. I'll be asking again. The brother that is in the Postal Corporation, Mr. Robinson, who owns the Postal Corporation? Come and tell us now. Because your mother's big and loud.
Ronald Robinson
Come
owned
and
it
tell us.
perhaps. Maybe Ronald Robinson owned it.
You people are getting away. You people are getting away with things that Mr. Pierre, have a good afternoon, man.
They're not getting away with it. We're speaking about it and they're concerned, but they don't know how to deal with it. What they need to do is for the board of directors to resign. Get a new board. You have failed. You are a rubber stamp. Resign. What you did was wrong. You open a cesspool for corruption. If you don't go, then you're setting a precedent that corruption is acceptable. And they must go. And that is why I believe that members of the National Democratic Congress, the political activists in the community, some of you you're not on any board, you're not on any post, you're just a strong supporter of NDC. When you're in the communities and you shut your mouth, or you're telling people don't listen to these programs on the radio, don't listen, don't give them like, don't subscribe to the programs. What you're doing, you're interpreting what we say for the people. It is not good. Or you're hiding from discussion because we're on the ground. Some of us, like me, are hungry for discussion with NDC members. Whether it's in the rum shop and meet them, they're running. They can't take on the discussion. You must ask the government about the GDB issue. Because this is clearly, this action by the Grenada Development Bank directors is unacceptable and it won't die. I don't particularly interested in breaking news. I like the stale information. The GDP issue is a fundamental one. It won't die. We must have answers on that. The question with the Samoa agreement, this one won't die. Deacon must tell us who is the third party that directing our foreign affairs, or apologize to the country for lying. You see, Mr. Andal, I believe him then. when he said signing this document, words to the effect, would be a contradiction to our Constitution. He spoke from the heart. He spoke with revolutionary fervor. And either Deacon was lying or there was a third party dictating our foreign policy. So you must answer these questions. You know, remember, we have the internet now. And remember, you are dealing with people that were not necessarily party hawks, not necessarily party supporters. So they are asking the questions. Those questions are not coming from NNP hardliners, you know, or NNP regulars, you know. You're coming from people on the radio personalities. And you cannot defend it. This government is corrupt. Now, if you hiding and running, 1 year, 2 years from now, we still will be on the ground if we're alive. You still have to answer those questions. Now, another issue we must know is the housing in Carriacou. It seems there are some hanky-panky in the house. The houses are there in the Carriacou. People are in the rain. The government ministers are blatantly lying without compunction. Is it a fact that some of these houses are already sold to people in the diaspora? Is it a fact that some of the houses in Carriacou are sold to the people in the diaspora? So the NDC cannot even let people rescue in the house temporarily. So here who are calling now? Daisy Hazard. I never met the individual. Obviously, if I see her in the street, I would know her because I see her face on many occasions. But I believe she has the capacity to be a good individual. I believe she has some depth. And bearing in mind that some of the individuals who was members of the Public Workers Union lost their jobs in Carriacou, and also bearing in mind that the Teachers Union executive has been strongly advocating that government get rid of some of Daisy has had members, the members she represents. I challenge you, I beg you to find out what's going on with the houses in Carriacou. Is it a fact that the government sold some of the houses already? Quietly, they sold the houses. Is it a fact? This is the rumors that is going around. Why the government cannot use the houses to rescue the poor of the poor? In light of the destruction by burial, does the government still have the policy to let people who could buy the house get it? Or give back the people who had keys for the houses already to give them back the keys? Remember, this government promised 500 houses per parish per year. 500 houses per parish per year. So why not give back the keys to the people who the keys were given to? I notice our journalists are keeping away from the minister that hand over the keys to these people in Carriacou. So Daisy Hazard, when I look at the union now, I think there is hope in you. I think there is hope in you. I think the president of the teachers union is an insult to the trade union movement in Grenada. Is an insult to the trade union movement in Grenada. But I believe there is hope in you, Daisy Hazard. So I beg you, in the name of the Public Workers Union members of Carriacou, because some of them must lose their house, some of them must lose their house, because they were in the lower income group, and the housing structure would be less strong. So Daisy Hazard, I appeal to you. There are times when we must speak for the voiceless. And the people in Carriacou now, if we are able to get 50 or 60 of them in these houses, that would ease up the pressure on others. We're dealing with a heartless government, you know. We're dealing with a greedy government. And we're dealing with vultures. And if you want to know the quality of these individuals, is when they see free thing around them. So we appeal to you. We know that is not your responsibility, but in crisis, we must know who is who. Our country don't obey logic, sir. And our people have to realize that. And every day, you have to have new voices seeking the interests of those who cannot speak for themselves. Some of the older voices can take on this challenge. It's a new challenge. And we have to, most of the voices who was speaking on accountability, transparency, and good governance was convenient voices, politically convenient individuals. All of them shut them out. So Daisy Hazard, as the public relation officer for one of the powerful unions in the country, the Public Workers Union, you must have direct exchanges and contact with government officials. So you're in a position more than perhaps any other union leader to inquire, to ask, why is it these houses are not used to rescue individuals in trouble at this time? You have to remember NDC was always hostile against this group of people. They were the ones that went back to the Chinese and promised them to build, to take back 1,000 houses and give them 40 million. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar, welcome. We lost that caller? All right, so the internet must have given us these challenges. So as we get the call from the internet, we have to have a little more patience with the WhatsApp, because sometimes they call and things are a little weaker. Yes, caller, welcome. You there?
Hello,
Yes, go right ahead.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon. I joined your program late. Because I had to search for a phone that I could borrow to make a call, because my number has been blocked apparently from calling your program.
From
Anyhow,
calling, no. We don't block numbers.
I want to know if, like I said, I joined late. I'm not sure if you would have spoken yet on the GDB release, the letter that was sent to Senator Lacre.
What you want to know on it? if we had spoken on the GDP, well, okay, we lost you again, but we get the gist of what you're saying. We don't block numbers on our program. We like people to disagree with us once you could, because we promise to speak the truth. So we don't block the numbers. But you wanted to know if I had spoken on the GDP program with some letter. I thought the letter was an insult to the questions we've been asking. The letter did not say that several government ministers did not borrow money from the GDP bank. That is what we were asking. We claim that several members of the government borrowed money from the GDP bank, that the directors flunked the law to able to provide this loan for them. We claim that based upon the information we've been getting, we understand one person sold the security they bring up. So let's suppose you put a piece of land for security. After they get the money, they sold the land. We asked the directors of the board to resign, to give us a public explanation on these rumors that is racing the country for over a year now. This letter tells us a lot of hanky-panky going on. So now we are asking for the board to go. Let the directors of the board go. The GDP Bank needs to be investigated. They are opening a cesspool for corruption. If that is happening in the GDP Bank, then the other organizations must be worse. Because the bank is the premier institution. And you might expect greater accounting and management in the bank. So if the directors of the bank could lend themselves money, as we've been hearing and we've been asking questions, and because government have a policy of information on a need-to-know basis, they've not been answering us. It is not good for your country for these rumors to swirl around the country unchecked. And the way you could stop the rumors is to provide information. So we want the GDP board directors to resign. That is what we were asking. And we are appealing to members of the NDC. Don't embarrass yourself. You have to give answers. You can't hide. You can avoid the rum shop. You can avoid the block. Because when we speak for a 6-year-old child to understand. So the children in primary school by now should know about the GDP Bank, and then we asking the board to resign because they corrupt. The children in the secondary schools who doing POB and accounting and commerce and economics should understand these things and seeking answers. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Pepe. Afternoon.
You have to speak
Hello?
up first.
Yeah, afternoon.
All right.
Pepe, since yesterday I saw that concerning the letter with the senator. I just had to laugh at that. Right? This thing they ought
What
to
you
the
talking
public,
about, the letter?
almost like the letter we
No,
we- we did
this letter is a joke, man. You mustn't
That's a
give
joke,
this letter
Pepe.
much credit. This letter
That's a
is to
joke.
sidetrack you. What the
Sidetrack?
bank, what the manager need to do is to tell us, is it a fact that several members of the government took loan in the GDP Bank? One, did they flaunt the law? Two, third, did members or any member sold the security that they gave to the bank? That's simple.
Yeah. What I'm saying, okay. Yeah, no, and nobody repeat. No, you're saying anything.
Oh,
No,
you mean
come
nobody
get
does say
here,
nothing and we saying?
No,
So you're calling
when I
us
say nobody
nobody
say, I
then?
talk about that. No, them ministers and them. And
Well,
the bank was not
the
saying anything about
minister,
that.
you have to understand. When the government said they had a policy I need to know, it's because they decide to hide information. And the government
They decide to hide
lying. You can't have
They
confidence in
lying.
this group.
Like that exactly I'm saying. What I'm saying, okay, let's say like if a man borrow money from a bank, and he's supposed to get, right? And the man end up go get a loan from a next financial institution and pay it out.
All this thing
After
is
he pay it out, they'll come here and
distraction.
pay.
The government have to tell us
I don't give a place to pay.
that distraction. The government have to tell us that
When
several members of the bank got money. Did you flaunt the regulation and the laws? And were there any incident where the security was sold? This thing is for you to run behind the sidetrack. You don't sidetrack us in the rum shopping.
Because I want to say also it concern to do with the housing thing,
In Carriacou.
As you mentioned, I think about before that. Remember, I think under the previous NDC with Glenwell, when I think he was the minister of housing, and he said to the Chinese, out of the 2,000 houses,
I don't know if it's he that said that, or if it was the government policy. You see, sometimes he was the mouthpiece of government. So the government that did that.
Yeah, the government, right? So give us the money. I take about the houses.
They said, I think it's about 40 million they want the government to give them.
40 million.
And take back 1,000.
You see definitely up there. You see definitely that the government not interested.
And they gave the Chinese permission to build the hotel. You know. The previous government in
have a best one.
Yeah, you see, this government has always been corrupt. So there are some issues that must be addressed. And I feel very sorry for a lot of political activists of the NDC because they used to have a lot of discussion. Now they're hiding. They afraid discussion because this NDC group is the worst group that ever lead this country. And some of them are embarrassed. But I'm encouraging them, find out the truth. That is important. It makes no sense that you continue to support a government, find low blow behind personalities like me, and you don't know the truth. You know, some of them in the program, they say, don't listen to the programs in the north. Don't give them likes. All that is like a children's story. What we want to know is about the GDB Bank. Simple. Give us answers about the GDB Bank. Let us know these things, you know. When we ask you a question, you're going around with little children's story. Is it a fact that the minister traveled 24 times in 23 months? Is it a fact that the government was using traveling as a means to enrich themselves? Every time they go away, they get a podium. So if you get a podium of, I don't know what the podium is, but let's suppose you were going in the Caribbean, they're going to give you a smaller podium than if you're going in America. But let's suppose you get a podium of 300 US a day. 300 US a day. And you may able to spend 100 US. That means for a day, you get 200 US additional. So the government been using traveling and galas and all this excuse to go away as a means to enrich themselves. That is a corrupt act. And the government must say to us, no, we did not do that. Look at the amount we spend on traveling and look at what the podium is. And we retire. When we come back, we retire. We give account for what we spend and we give back the money we didn't spend. Accountability. The minister traveled 24 times in 23 months. And I understand the minister was able to bring her spouse. But it's a policy. Some bring their spouse. And I don't want to say male or female now, because it seems as though that might be a little tie-up. We want to know that. Instead of you there Mickey Mousing on radio and saying, don't give them likes and don't listen. No. When I speak on program, my main target group is leaders, the government of Grenada, the trade unions, the leaders. They are the ones that steer this country and give the country direction. And they are the ones that make policies. So that is why I call on Daisy Hazard. She has not done me anything. I never said a word to her. I don't know her, except I've seen her photo on social media. But I've listened to her in many occasions, and I believe there is some substance in this young lady. So I want to encourage her. Because of the fact that your members in Carriacou have suffered, because of the fact that they unceremoniously fire the labor commissioner, who seems was showing impartiality. That is why I encourage you, Daisy Hazard, to find out about the houses in Carriacou, because we are hearing that the majority of the houses are already sold for people, not regular people in Carriacou, but people from the diaspora. So they can't put them in the house. So all the excuses they're making is just blatant lies. We are only appealing to you because of the position that you hold. And we believe there is some substance in you for the truth. And it's time that truth start to walk around in Grenada at all levels. Our politicians have to be careful with their words. Yes, they're going to make mistakes. Yes, they're going to give their word and take it back sometime. We understand that. But on fundamental issues that they had time to discuss and come up with, politicians must keep their word. And last, as we reach the end, I want to inform the police. There is a word called stampede. Stampede. We don't have that much in the Caribbean because the size of our population. But a lot of times in Saudi Arabia and India, you have stampede that we realize in several hundreds of people getting injured or dying. So I want to warn the police in Grenada. You have a very good reputation. You've been doing a very good job. But there is a word called stampede. And you must not contribute to stampede. We're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to punch. Thank you very much.